I had a protective order situation. I was representing the husband trying to get a protective order against the wife. And I was like, how are we going to do this? Because you're basically like, I'm afraid of this woman. And he was like 6'7". And we talking about this little bitty thing, this little bitty woman. And I'm telling you, she was beating the hell out of him.
Wow.
But he had the footage. In that case, the recordings was great. Spitting on him, slapping him, bust through the doors in the house with a little stick they had outside. I mean, craziness. But looking at these two, you would never think. And he was a cop. You would never think what was going on in that house was going on. And trust me, I mean, she just looked so poised. Them videos came in handy because you would have never believed the things he was accusing her of doing, she was doing.
So those were intentionally being recorded?
Yes, but I'm glad he had it because no one would have believed him. No one would have believed him. I mean, he's an officer. He's tall. We're not going to lie. There's a privilege to how you look, right?
Yeah.
She's this short, petite woman. She's pretty. There's a pretty privilege too. You would have never thought that this beautiful woman was spitting on her husband, slapping him, scratching him, blood running down his face. You would have never thought looking at her. So in those circumstances, when there's violence, record. But if this is a situation of who's the better parent, look who cooked better, look who bathed the kid, But in family violence, record. Call the police, get a police report, go to urgent care. I don't even care if you needed a Band-Aid. Go to urgent care, get something. So it depends on what you're recording for.
And men tend to want to, be the bigger man and not show that side of a woman who they may be dealing with. I think you should show that before you end up being recorded, because how much of that can you take? When somebody's taking you out of character to that extent, now you're acting up, now you're being recorded. I tell guys just that the first sign of violence in any capacity, there needs to be a very serious conversation.
And that was a hard
walking away.
Swallow too, because at one point he was like, I just want the divorce. And then at another point he was like, if this was me, I would be in jail for doing what she's doing to me. So we had to kind of like get him prepared to be like, we're going to get you divorced, but sometimes you got to teach people how to treat you. And if you don't take a stance now, I was like, you're probably going to be one of my clients forever, because you'll be back next year, because she'll be withholding the child from you. She'll be doing that. Because this is a woman that's disrespectful. She doesn't respect you, right? So even if you just get the divorce, you're going to end up having problems out of her. So I felt like we had to do the protective order to teach her how to treat him, because he had me. And boy, that was a sight to see. That hearing, you could hear a pin drop. I went off on her so bad. It was terrible, but I had to. And guess what?
Right.
They've been having a smooth sailing relationship. I bet she has, and she don't ever want to see me again.
Shout out to Lauren the lawyer, man.
So sometimes you got to teach people how to treat you. So men, stand up for yourselves. Because these women sometimes will try to control everything and use the children to hurt you, use finances to hurt you. Sometimes you just got to spank someone a little bit. They learn. They fall in line.
Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed. For someone who's an attorney and still values relationships, what do you think of this conversation? There's a lot of conversations that are had right now about marriage. Do you still believe marriage is a necessary institution for society today? You still think people should get married? Does what you do get in the way of how you see marriage?
No. I'm very blessed to have seen multiple successful marriages growing up. So thankfully I didn't become tainted because of my career. My parents have been married over 30 years. My husband's parents have been married over 30 years. I've been knowing my husband long before I became an attorney. We started dating in college. So I was already with him long before I got into this field and got to really see how terrible things could be.
Wow.
But thankfully I had great examples and a strong foundation. To answer your first question, do I think it's necessary? When we think about like a necessity, right?
Right.
Marriage is different now. Women got married in the past maybe because they had to. They didn't have the right to vote. They didn't have a right to have a bank account. They didn't have the right to open a business. So a lot of times they had to get married in order to be afforded certain opportunities. Now, obviously, that's not the reason for getting married anymore. Women have rights to do almost basically everything a man can do. but I still think it's a necessary thing, a part of our society. It helps the world go round because it takes all kinds to make a world. We need some married people, we need some single people, we need some people in the middle, we need all different walks of life.
Right.
So it's still necessary, but not for the same reasons.
Understood. Wonderful. Lauren, thank you so much. How can the people find you for advice, legal representation, reach out to you? By the way, guys, she is very, very, very present on TikTok. Very entertaining stories. How can the people find you? How can they get in contact with you?
Well, follow my TikTok. It's Lauren_the lawyer. A lot of horror stories on there. I feel like I talk about the worst of the worst. Maybe I'm going to have to start spreading a little bit more positivity on there. But follow me on TikTok for my entertaining life as a family law attorney. If you are in Texas and you're looking for legal advice, and if you're in Dallas County, potentially looking for representation, my website is laurenthelawyer.com. My office number is 214-998-5668. And I'm happy to help anyone who needs it. But if you're looking for some really good entertainment, my TikTok is where it's at. You can live anywhere in the world and enjoy that.
For sure, definitely. And we'll have, of course, all your information that you've mentioned here also down below. And the people in the community especially will be able to access it. And also if I show clips on the main channel as well. Listen, I heard you say something there about, negativity. It's part of this media space. It's very interesting because if you're a content creator like yourself, you can feel guilty sometimes because, like you said, it's like, oh, I wish more positive stuff, but life is messy. And now that you have platforms where people can go and create media spaces, a lot of people are a lot harder, I feel like, on content creators, but they don't realize it. We're just changing the medium from content creators to television. Mm-hmm. No one goes on CNN, Fox News, NBC and complains and says, why are these people always reporting about negative stuff? Where's the positivity? No, they've accepted that that's what they're going to get when they go on there. They accepted that's what they got when they went on Maury. It's not me saying that people shouldn't be positive. This is a very positive conversation, of course, and so many people are going to benefit from this. And I'm so thankful that you had this conversation with this. But I just want to encourage you to continue.
Scaring people out of marriage and having a family. That's what I mean by I feel like I'm scaring people. So maybe I should tell some of the great situations, but I don't really practice happy law. Like I said, I don't do adoptions. Those are very happy stories. I am a part of people's worst day of their life. So when I'm talking about my experiences, they're not roses and butterflies, but I want people to be prepared for the family law system. And I know you said you were curious on how I started. Long story short, my husband's a marketer. So I own my law firm. He owns his marketing firm. And I was telling him I was tired of paying for advertisement. And he was like, Lauren, with your personality, he was like, just get on social media and start giving people free information. And the very first video I made for TikTok went viral. So that's what happened. And then before I really got into the thick of things, I called the bar and made sure I understood how to do it within our ethical boundaries. And then I took off from there.
Right. Very cool. Well, if you didn't make that TikTok that went viral, I'd have never found you so that you can help men who value marriages. And you're doing some very positive stuff for us over here. Thank you so much. Hey guys, Trisha Zed here. What you just watched was only a snippet of a larger conversation I had with expert attorney Lauren, the lawyer. You know what shocks me? I get men who reach out to me all the time who are in situations where they've entered a marriage without either asking the right questions, not even 100% sure of the fundamental values of that woman, or they didn't sign a prenup when they know that they should have. I am shocked at the amount of men who enter marriages today, despite what we talk about and see on a regular basis. They go into those marriages blindly. Is that you? Are you a man who's engaged or plan to get married very soon, and you're thinking about steps that you might want to take to protect yourself? Well, if you have a question and just want somebody who you can talk to, I want to give you an opportunity to have a conversation with me. Again, you have to be engaged, plan to get married very soon, or currently married and have other questions. Maybe I can point you in the right direction, or maybe I can give you some much needed feedback. Additionally, I also want to grant you exclusive access that's only available to members in Brew Brothers. These are men, fathers, husbands who've been married for a while. They value traditional marriages and they have access to this content. But I want to give you access to a video titled Why a Prenup Will Be the Best Decision for Your Marriage. You get access to that, and you also will get free access to have a conversation with me. Hit that link pinned to the top of the comment section and schedule your call with me. I look forward to talking to you hopefully very soon.